Assalamualaikum and a good day everybody. Today we're going to talk about IFRS 8 operating segments. Before we dive into the standard, we need to know that IFRS 8 is a disclosure standard. Therefore, there is no initial measurement, there is no subsequent measurement and whatnot. It is a disclosure standard. Therefore, it will not affect IS 7 statement of cash flow, it will not affect statement of profit or loss, it will not affect statement of financial position, and it will not affect statement of changes in equity. It will only affect the notes to the account simply because we want to know what do we want to disclose and what not. No, the core principle of IFRS 8 is that an entity or business is required to disclose information to enable users of its financial statement to evaluate the nature and financial effects of the business activities that it engages and the economic environment that it operates. The scope of IFRS 8 is subjected to entities business as debt or equity instruments that are traded in the public market or they have already issued IPOs. Now, debt would be the bond market and equity would be ordinary shares and whatnot. Now, however, in simpler terms, what is IFRS 8? IFRS 8 is an operating statement. Now, what is an operating segment? A segment means the business segment of the company, such as divisions, department, geographical segments. For instance, Nestle can separate their business into multiple segments simply because they're so big. Therefore, they can have geography segments such as Malaysia, Indonesia, Timor-Leste. On another example, we can take Unirazak. Unirazak has multiple departments and those departments can be divided into segments. Therefore, they can be divided into TASOC, BRSB, CFAs and ICH. IFRS 8 is a standard that uses to find out what we want to disclose in the notes to the accounts. For instance, after applying IFRS 8, we disclose TASOC and BRSB in our notes to accounts. However, we do not disclose our School of Humanitarian and CFS. Now, let's dive right into the standard. Now, how can we decide what is a business segment? How do we decide what we want to disclose and what not? First of all, we have to understand that what is operating segment itself. That's the title of IFRS 8, operating segments. Now, operating segments are components of entity that needs to have all three of these criteria in which that it engages in a business activity in which it may earn revenues and incur expenses. Operating results are regularly reviewed by the Chief Operating Decision Maker, CODM, and it has discrete financial information. Now, in simpler terms, operating segment is a segment that generates revenue, incur expenses. Those distinct information are being stored and kept and is always available to be regularly reviewed by the CODM. Now, what is a CODM? CODM is either a single person or a group of individuals that holds the responsibility for strategic decision making regarding the entity. CODM allocates resources and assesses the performance of the operating statements. The CODM can be the CEO, the COO, the BODs and whatnot. However, we do not disclose all operating statements. Simply because it has to pass through all the qualitative states that we have stated. If it passes through all these qualitative states, then the business statement will be classified as an operating statement. However, we do not disclose all operating statements in the notes to the accounts. A business statement have to pass through the quantitative test for it to be called a reportable operating statement. So, what is an reportable statement? Reportable statements are operating statements that pass through the quantitative threshold that will now be reported in our notes to financial account. So, let's recap. Business has multiple segments, such as geographical segments, departments and whatnot. It has to be passed through all these three qualitative characteristics for it to be called a operating statement. And after you have passed through the quantitative segments, then it will be called reportable operating statements. That is all.